The 1966 Australian 2-cent coin. At first glance, it might seem like a humble piece of copper, a relic of everyday change from decades ago. But hidden within its simple surface lies a deep well of national history, striking design, and market potential that has collectors on the hunt. And just maybe, this tiny coin could unlock a path to millionaire status. If you've ever held on to one of these, especially in very fine condition, now is the time to take a closer look, because this coin is more powerful than it looks. Let's set the stage with some important history. The year 1966 marked a major turning point in Australia's financial landscape. It was the year of decimalisation, when the country officially transitioned from pounds, shillings, and pence to the dollar and cent system we know today. With this massive reform came an entirely new series of coins, each meticulously designed to reflect Australia's unique identity. Among them, the 2-cent coin, minted from 1966 through to 1989, made its debut, and the very first year of issue, 1966, now carries historical weight and numismatic prestige. The 1966 coin, being the origin of the series, is especially sought after by collectors wanting to complete early decimal sets or celebrate the foundation of Australia's modern currency era. Now let's admire the design, a true work of numismatic art. The reverse side features the beautifully detailed image of a frill-necked lizard, an iconic reptile of the Australian outback, flaring its dramatic collar. This was the creative genius of Stuart Devlin, master coin designer and official goldsmith to the Queen. The way the frill extends around the animal's head, with its scales and claws etched in fine relief, makes this coin a miniature masterpiece. The boldness of the lizard's pose, curling and alert, gives the reverse side a sense of motion and energy rarely seen in circulating coinage. In very fine condition, the details of the frill, claws, and tail remain pronounced, with only light wear on the highest surfaces, just enough to show its age, yet still shine with life. Flip the coin over, and you'll find the obverse, proudly bearing the regal effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, facing right and wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. This original portrait, sculpted by Arnold Machin, is instantly recognizable and remained on Australian coinage until the mid-1980s. The youthful likeness of the Queen in 1966 carries its own historic charm, representing both royal continuity and Australia's Commonwealth heritage. Coins in very fine condition maintain visible detail in Her Majesty's facial features, neckline, and tiara, which adds value and visual elegance to your collection. Now for the specifications, because this isn't just about what you see, but also what you hold. The 1966 2-cent coin is circular, 17.35 millimeters in diameter, and weighs 5.18 grams. It is made of bronze, a rich alloy of 97% copper, 2.5% zinc, and 0.5% tin, which gives it that warm, reddish-brown tone that collectors absolutely love. In very fine condition, the coin's color may deepen into a rich patina, adding character and indicating authenticity. Despite being a small coin, its composition makes it durable and long-lasting, allowing high-grade examples to still surface from time to time, even after nearly 60 years. Let's talk about value, because this is where things get exciting. In circulated condition, the 1966 2-cent coin generally trades for 10 cents to 50 cents AUD depending on where. But in very fine condition, values climb to $1 to $3 Australian, and that's just the beginning. Coins in extremely fine or uncirculated condition, particularly those stored in mint rolls or sets, can fetch $10 to $25 AUD. But the real gold mine lies in rare error coins. Known 1966 2-cent errors include clipped planchets, off-center strikes, die cracks, and double strikes, some of which have sold for $100 to $500 Australian or more, especially when professionally graded and slabbed. But here's where your chance to become a millionaire truly enters the picture. Imagine discovering not just one, but a stash of pristine 1966 coins, perhaps inherited, found in old savings jars, or secured at markets before their value exploded. Suppose one of them turns out to be an uncatalogued error or even a rare proof version that slipped into circulation. Such a find, if verified by leading grading services like PCGS or NGC, could instantly catapult into 5- or 6-figure auction territory. Add to that the rising global demand for early Queen Elizabeth coins following her passing, and you have a scenario where this tiny copper treasure could become your ticket to generational wealth. Now, let's talk about collector demand. The market for Australian decimal coins is on fire. Enthusiasts from Australia, the UK, New Zealand, and the USA are all actively seeking first-year decimal coins, particularly in premium grades. As inflation eats away at purchasing power and collectors search for tangible, historic assets, vintage coins like the 1966 2-cent are seeing renewed interest and appreciation. There's a special allure to owning a piece of 1966, a coin that witnessed the dawn of a new currency, carried through decades, and still speaks proudly of the land it came from. Even in very fine circulated condition, these coins are now being preserved, graded, and invested in at record rates. The 1966 Australian 2-cent coin is no ordinary piece of bronze. It's a historical artifact, a miniature work of art, and a potential financial treasure all rolled into one. With its dramatic lizard design, early royal portrait, and connection to the birth of Australia's decimal era, this coin ticks every box for serious collectors. And if you're lucky enough to own one in very fine condition, don't underestimate its value, because your little copper coin could be the key to a massive numismatic payday. Next up, the 1978 Australian 2-cent coin, and in black circulated condition, it holds a story far deeper than its modest appearance. Behind the tarnish and where lies a remarkable piece of Australia's decimal legacy, and for those with a keen eye, this coin could be your key to a numismatic fortune. If you have one of these coins tucked away, you just might be sitting on a low-key millionaire maker. So let's explore it in full detail, from its design brilliance to its hidden collector value. The year 1978 was part of a stable era in Australian coin production. The country had long transitioned into the decimal system introduced in 1966, and the 2-cent coin was a well-accepted staple in pockets, purses, and tills. Yet despite its everyday use, the 2-cent coin remained one of the most beautifully crafted and uniquely Australian designs in circulation. That year, over 81.7 million 2-cent coins were minted, making it a common year numerically. But here's the twist. Very few survive today in high-grade or collectible form, especially those bearing rare toning or planchet anomalies. And that's where things get truly interesting. Let's start with the design, a small canvas that delivers big artistry. On the reverse, you'll find one of Australia's most iconic creatures, the frill-necked lizard, in a defensive, alert pose with its frill flared wide like a royal collar. This stunning depiction was created by Stuart Devlin, the royal goldsmith to the Queen, and his mastery shines through. The level of detail in the lizard's scales, limbs, and tail is extraordinary for such a small denomination. The flowing lines and organic curves capture the wild essence of the Australian outback in a coin that fits in your hand. Even in black, circulated condition, you can often still see the depth of relief and texture that makes this coin pop with attitude and charm. The obverse features the regal portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, sculpted by Arnold Machin. This youthful depiction of Her Majesty, wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, was used on Australian coinage from 1966 until the mid-1980s. The 1978 coin is right in the heart of that era, and the obverse design balances tradition, stability, and national pride. In circulated condition, many coins have smoothed or blackened features. But if the Queen's outline, tiara points, and letter edges remain visible, the coin still holds strong collectible integrity, especially when viewed under magnification or strong lighting. Let's now get into the specifications. The 1978 2-cent coin is made of bronze, consisting of 97% copper, 2.5% zinc, and 0.5% tin, which gives the coin its original reddish tone. However, in circulated and blackened condition, years of oxidation and exposure to elements have darkened the metal into a deep brown or near-black patina, which is often prized by collectors for its authenticity and natural aging. The coin measures 17.35 millimeters in diameter, weighs 5.18 grams, and is round with a plain edge. This durable composition allows coins to survive for decades, even centuries, and gain unique coloration along the way. That black finish, it's not a flaw. It's a story, a sign of a coin that's traveled far and wide. Now, let's talk about value. On the surface, the 1978 2-cent coin might appear common. In average circulated condition, it might sell for 10 cents to 50 cents AUD, but that's just the baseline. In very fine or black-toned with clear detail, collectors may pay $1 to $3 Australian, and in uncirculated or brilliant red-brown mint condition, values can soar to $10 to $25 AUD. But where things really catch fire is in the error coin market. 1978 2-cent coins with off-center strikes, die clashes, clipped planchets, or cuds have sold for $50 to over $300 Australian, and rare proof or low-mintage misstrikes could command far higher prices. One remarkable example featuring a double strike was privately sold for over $600 Australian, and with proper grading and certification, your coin could enter that upper bracket too. So, how could a black, circulated 2-cent coin make you a millionaire? It's all about rarity, market timing, and hidden traits. Imagine discovering an unreported minting error, perhaps an unlisted mule or an overstruck coin, and pairing it with today's growing interest in pre-2000s Australian bronze coins. With the 2-cent coin withdrawn from circulation in 1992, these coins are no longer produced, and demand is rising rapidly. Combine that with a rising international market, Queen Elizabeth II Memorial collectibles boom, and the passionate hunt for early decimal varieties, and suddenly your little black 1978 coin becomes a serious investment. Multiply that value across a jar of old coins or a family collection, and yes, it's absolutely possible that this quiet copper warrior could open the door to 6 or even 7-figure discoveries. As for demand, 1978 coins are increasingly sought after by Australian and international collectors building complete year sets, monarch portrait runs, or unique patina collections. There's a growing niche of buyers who specifically seek blackened or naturally toned coins, preferring authentic age over polished shine. In particular, collectors from the UK, New Zealand, and the US see these coins as exotic, beautifully crafted, and highly desirable relics of Commonwealth history. Market demand for coins in raw, aged form is higher than ever, especially for first-time collectors or heritage investors looking for affordable entry points into serious numismatics. In conclusion, the 1978 Australian 2-cent coin, even in black circulated condition, is far more than a forgotten piece of copper. It's a symbol of Australia's bold design era, a product of royal tradition, and potentially a low-key goldmine hiding in your coin jar. Whether you hold just one or dozens, take the time to examine them carefully. Look for mint errors, check the details, appreciate the natural toning, and most of all, don't underestimate the power of this tiny coin. In the right hands, with the right circumstances, it may not just tell a story of history. It might become a story of fortune. Next up, the 1967 Australian 2-cent coin. At first glance, it may seem like just another small, copper-toned piece of pocket change. But in reality, this unassuming coin, especially in circulated condition, holds historical prestige, breathtaking design, and a collector value that's rising steadily year after year. And if you're lucky enough to own one, you might just be holding onto a coin that could lead to a life-changing discovery. Let's explore this remarkable piece in full detail, because the 1967 2-cent coin may be your next step toward becoming a millionaire. Let's begin with the historical significance. The 2-cent coin was first introduced in 1966, the year Australia transitioned from pounds, shillings, and pence to the decimal currency system. This decimalization marked a major financial and cultural transformation for the nation. The 1967 edition, being only the second year of issue, is part of the earliest wave of Australia's modern currency, and that makes it especially significant to collectors who value first-decade decimal coinage. These early coins represent not just currency, but a symbolic shift in national identity, reflecting Australia's independence, progress, and creativity in the post-war world. Now, let's talk design, because this coin is more than money. It's a work of miniature art. On the reverse, the 2-cent coin features the stunning image of a frill-necked lizard, a native Australian reptile captured mid-movement with its dramatic frill extended in full display. This design was created by Stuart Devlin, the royal goldsmith and one of the most respected coin designers of the 20th century. The lizard's pose is dynamic, almost lifelike, and every scale, claw, and frill curve is rendered with impressive detail. Even in circulated condition, the coin's artistry shines through. The lizard symbolizes the raw, untamed nature of Australia, bold, resilient, and unlike anything else in the world. It's no surprise that this design became one of the most beloved in Australian coinage history. Flip it over, and you're met with a young and dignified Queen Elizabeth II, facing right, wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. This portrait, sculpted by Arnold Machin, graced Australian coins from 1966 to the mid-1980s. On the 1967 2-cent coin, it captures the monarchy's connection to Australia's Commonwealth heritage, while also symbolizing the modern age of the new decimal currency. Even when worn, the Queen's portrait holds its grace. In circulated coins, collectors look for legible inscriptions, a visible tiara, and facial contours, signs of a coin that has aged but retained its regal presence. As for specifications, the 1967 2-cent coin was made to last. It is round, 17.35 millimeters in diameter, and weighs 5.18 grams. The composition is 97% copper, 2.5% zinc, and 0.5% tin, giving it a rich bronze tone that naturally darkens over time to deep browns or even black with natural patina. This material is durable, and coins from this era often survive well even after decades of circulation. In circulated condition, these coins may show smooth high points, darker toning, and minor edge wear, but for collectors of vintage coins, these features tell a story of real-world use and give the coin its unique character. Now let's get to the exciting part, value and rarity. In general, a 1967 Australian 2-cent coin in average circulated condition is worth around 10 cents to 50 cents AUD. However, in better circulated or very fine condition, values rise to $1 to $3 depending on the detail and patina. But here's where the magic begins. Some 1967 coins exhibit rare mint errors, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, or double strikes. These error coins are incredibly sought after and can fetch $50 to $500 or more, especially when professionally graded and authenticated. If you discover an unlisted or unique error, you could be looking at a coin worth thousands. But what could make this coin truly life-changing is its position in Australia's early decimal coinage timeline. First-decade coins, especially those with visual uniqueness or tied to major historical moments, are being snapped up by investors, museums, and international collectors. As older Australians pass down collections, and as the demand for Queen Elizabeth II-era coins spikes following her passing, prices for well-preserved and era-variant coins from 1966 to 1970 are seeing massive upward trends. Imagine discovering a full roll of 1,967 2-cent coins, untouched since the 1960s, or better yet, a unique minting error never before cataloged. In the right circumstances, your small bronze coin could be auctioned internationally for a 5- or 6-figure price. Let's not forget the growing demand. The market for Australian bronze coins is heating up, both locally and internationally. Collectors in Australia, the UK, the US, and Asia are all chasing pre-1990s bronze coins, especially those featuring early Queen Elizabeth portraits or native wildlife designs. With the 2-cent coin being officially withdrawn from circulation in 1992, this coin has already transformed from legal tender to historical relic. And in an age where tangible assets are increasingly seen as safe investments, coins like this are gaining a reputation as portable, valuable pieces of history, especially ones with high copper content, royal symbolism, and design brilliance. In conclusion, the 1967 Australian 2-cent coin, even in circulated condition, is far more than just a forgotten copper disc. It's a piece of the birth of decimal currency, a tribute to native wildlife, a product of royal history, and potentially, if the right era or condition aligns, a hidden fortune waiting to be rediscovered. Whether you've got one in your pocket, tucked away in a drawer, or sitting silently in a dusty coin collection, now is the time to pull it out and take a closer look. The clues to your next big payday might be right there in your hands. So don't wait. Like, subscribe, and share this video if you believe in the hidden power of everyday coins. And remember, every great discovery starts with a single coin, and your 1967 2-cent piece could be the spark that lights your millionaire journey. Keep collecting, stay curious, and never stop searching, because the treasure you seek might already be in your pocket.